All right. How's it going, everyone? Nick Marro here with DFS Jayhawk. Happy Thanksgiving. Last NBA DFS slate before the day break. Just one day. Obviously, football tomorrow. Hopefully, everyone getting to spend some time with family. But before we do that, I believe it's an 8 game slate tonight, Jayhawk. And DraftKings and FanDuel are aligned. We got an NBA Cup slate. So, should be some competitive games. Not a ton of value. But what's your initial takes here, man, before we dive into this one?
Looks like an interesting one. We were talking pre-stream. Looks like a lot of really good mid-range plays today. You mentioned not as much value, but definitely like a very intriguing slate to build. Different lineups tonight. So very excited to break this one up.
Yeah, man, right there with you. Shouts out Ben. We got Jose in here saying happy Thanksgiving. Likewise, right back at you guys. Can we trust Giannis tonight? If he's in, I mean, I think he's good to go. But Jayhawk and I were talking pre-stream. There's not a ton of cheap value, so we may be going a bit more balanced today. Shouts out to Heath, Luke. Yeah, I think a lot of us struggled yesterday. I ended up about break even actually, just because of Luca. But dude, I don't think many of us saw the Wizards blowing out the Hawks. So is what it is on that one. Um, yeah, HB Cards got his win and thought turkeys could fly. Uh, Getting the references out here. Looking forward to the holiday season. And yeah, Jose not feeling Giannis tonight. We'll get to that game, guys. As always, we go game by game here. There's actually a game going on right now between the Pistons and the Celtics. I have a few props going in now. We're going to try not to pay any attention to it, though. Let's get into the breakdown here. We got the Knicks taking on the Hornets in Charlotte. Knicks are favorites on the road. Pretty tight spread, though. 241.5 point total. Charlotte's getting healthy. Let's start on the New York side of things, though. No OG, no Landry Shamet. They're both going to be out for a while. Those are significant injuries, though. Obviously, OG plays as many minutes on this team as anyone. Shamet's been pretty involved in that rotation, so there is going to be a bit of a boost here for the rest of the starters. Hart has been playing more minutes lately. Surprised he's not showing a little bit more ownership. I do like him as a tournament play. The obvious plays here, though, are Towns and Brunson. I mean, great matchup for them, both sub 10K again on a slate where we don't have too much to pay all the way up for. I think they make some sense. You can mix in Bridges. Clarkson's been okay, but with the price increase, I don't really see myself getting there. Townsend Brunson for me, Jayhawk. Don't mind Bridges, but I'd rather get to Hart if I'm playing a third Nick. Not really prioritizing anything from this team, but it is a good game environment. How you feeling about New York here?
Yeah, I agree here. I think it's obviously a very good spot here for New York. I think both Cat and Brunson look great. I do lean Cat in this spot in particular. Love his I don't love his price, but I think he's in a great spot. And then yeah, I like mixing in Josh Hart as well. He is 7K, but he's spiked his ceiling the last couple of games. So I like mixing him in at 4 and 3%, like you mentioned.
Yeah, he's unowned, and there's a good chance he doesn't start here. Mitchell Robinson is available, so coming off the bench, that could drive his ownership down. We've seen McBride in the starting lineup just as often as Hart, but McBride just hasn't been super productive. So again, Josh Hart probably worth considering, but obviously Brunson and Cat look good. Over on the Hornets side of things, no Pat Connaughton, Josh Green, Salulin, KJ Simpson, or Grant Williams, but they're as healthy as they've been all season. I think it's been a while since we've had Ball, Miller, Bridges. Actually, the other day they were all available, but Trey Van back here as well. So we always say this: whenever a team gets healthy, it's tough to get to them because they're all priced to have a couple of these guys out. Canuple's been outstanding. I mean, front runner for Rookie of the Year, even ahead of Flag right now. But his usage is probably going to go down. He feels a bit overpriced. Miller's looked good last time out, but probably capped around 28 to 30 minutes. Ball hasn't been playing extended minutes. Bridges is probably the one guy here I would maybe trust, and even then, I don't feel great about it. We do have good center value, like in the 5 to 6K range tonight. But if you're looking to go cheap, Kalkbrenner makes some sense as well here. Likely getting the start here as he is not on the injury report. Charlotte looks okay, man, but again, I just think they're kind of priced where they should be, so nothing really standing out to me. Is there anything you're prioritizing for these Hornets?
Yeah, I think you mentioned. I think Kalkbrenner probably my preferred play here. 4,200, just some value we can look to. So I'm fine with Kalkbrenner here. And then I'm actually going to shout out Canoopel down here, your boy, 6,900. I don't hate potentially getting a stab there at that ownership, but other than that, that's about it here for Charlotte for me.
Yeah, I mean, Knubel, he's playing as many minutes as anyone on this team. I mean, like I said, I think the usage would tick down a little bit, but he has been so efficient shooting that it may not matter much. So don't mind that call at all. Next game on the slate here, we got a couple at 7:30. First, we will talk about the Pacers and the Toronto Raptors. Indiana going to be underdogs on the road here. Toronto 233.5 point total with them hosting. Toronto's been better than expected this season, but Indy is the team that is banged up. We'll start with them. We got no Tyrese Halliburton, obviously. Aaron Naismith, Obi Toppin going to be out here as well. A few other guys that aren't nearly as significant. Mathurin's back. I mean, he's been pretty good. I think if you want to get to him, it's fine. It's just he's pretty much priced where he should be. Can say the same for Siakam and Nemhard. Those three are okay as like last piece in type plays, in my opinion. I do have some interest in TJ McConnell. Obviously, he's a beast when it comes to points per minute. This is, I guess, an NBA Cup game. I didn't look at the standings, but if they're still trying to win, he is a guy they do like to get on the floor for at least 20 minutes and over 20 fantasy points, three straight on a slate where we are really strapped for value on DK. McConnell does make a lot of sense. Don't mind getting to him. Jay Huff's been the best big here. But the front court rotations all over the place. Rick Carlisle, one of the more difficult coaches to project when it comes to his rotations and minutes for his secondary guys. So I don't mind Siakam, Mathurin, and Nemhard. Not going to prioritize any of them. It's actually TJ McConnell I find myself getting to here, Jayhawk. How do you feel about the Pacers? And again, that's more of a DK play. He's a bit priced out over on FanDuel at 46.
Yeah, definitely right with you here with TJ on DraftKings. We're struggling for value, so he looks great at his price. He should play what we have him projected in the model here minutes wise. So love him here at his price. And then I don't hate taking a stab on Mathurin, Siakam, even J Huff. I don't hate taking a stab at these guys, but it's mainly just McConnell here and then mixing in like 5% Siakam in tournaments for me.
I like it. Yeah. Again, decent game, but all kind of priced where they should be. Interesting situation here for Toronto with no RJ Barrett. That's the only name they have today on the injury report. But obviously, the lack of Barrett does provide a bit of a boost to guys like Barnes, Ingram, and Quickly. Quickly, probably my favorite because he is the cheapest. He's been super productive lately. I'm going to have him in a lot of my builds. Jakob Poeltl is in and available. There's a few centers I like in his price range. He is one of them, though. And if he continues to be the lowest owned of that group, I do want to get to him here. He's a guy who seems more matchup dependent than others. Like when he plays tough defenses, the numbers aren't there. But this front court for Indy right now is porous when it comes to defense. So I do like him here. We talked a little bit pre-stream. My kind of hot take of the day is to maybe get to some Jamal Sheed. I think Jacoby Walter, more likely than not, gets the start at the two. He's going to draw some ownership. But Sheed is the better point per dollar or point per minute producer. Kind of a similar play to a TJ McConnell, but maybe even lower owned. I wouldn't mind using both in a lineup and just maybe hoping they both get there for cheap. But again, we're lacking value on the slate. I'm fine getting to. You can make a case for Walter as the starter, but Barnes, Ingram, Quickly all look good. Have no issues with any of them. I will say Ingram, after a cold start to the season, is shooting really well now. Obviously, Barnes has tremendous upside, but Quickly the one I would consider a core play over the others. Jayhawk, how do you feel about Toronto here?
Yeah, man, really in line here. I think the guards look super good here for Toronto. Just very up tempo game. So love both Quickly and Sheet here. And then I'm a little bit like more bullish on Scotty Barnes tonight. The price I don't love, but I just really like the spot for his upside. So love getting the Scotty up top. And then I think Ingram is fine. I just don't like the price as much with him. So I do prefer Scotty slightly to Ingram personally.
Yep, and to answer Jose's question, I am also on the Barnes side, even though you're a bit more bullish. I imagine you're in the same boat.
Yeah,
Barnes
yeah,
over Siakam.
yeah. I think Barnes probably for me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. But again, all three look good, and I don't mind paying for Ingram because he's been shooting well. But when you look at the ownership, him being more popular than Barnes is a little bit crazy. So I don't mind making that pivot. Another game here in the 7:30 window. We have a few more in the 7:30 window. We got the Bucks taking on the Heat, and the Heat are decent side favorites at home. Does that tell us that Giannis is going to sit? I don't know. He is currently on the injury report as questionable. Hopefully, we get that news soon. No Kevin Porter or Torian Prince. If Giannis is in, this team's all kind of priced where they should be. Honestly, Rollins would be overpriced if Giannis is in. Could say the same for Portis. Portis has been starting in place of Giannis, and it seems like he's locked in again now. He was awesome his last game. He had 38 fantasy points. I think 28 of those came in his first stint. So a bit of a fizzle out there against Portland, but if Giannis is out, I don't mind getting to Rollins. I don't mind getting to Portis. Those are really the two I'd be keying in on. I'm never playing Kuzma, regardless, unless like everyone's sad except for him. But if Giannis is in, I'm fine getting to him at low ownership. I will say, I think he plays his normal minutes. Like, they're not going to bring him in to have a limited role, in my opinion. It's just not the best matchup. And again, on a slate where we're lacking value, I don't know that I could call him a priority. But as I'm saying all this, like, to get his upside at low ownership on a slate like this, where there is some pretty big concentrations in terms of ownership, I wouldn't mind using him in high risk contests. So it really depends if Giannis is in. If he's in, he's okay. That's the only guy I'd get to. If he's out, Rollins and Portis have some appeal. Jayhawk, do you have a hunch here? Did he go through shoot around? I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, I think for Giannis here, so the only like news that I saw is SGA through shoot around. I haven't got like seen news on Giannis yet. But like you mentioned, with the 9.5 point spread here, I do lean he might sit once again here. So yeah, if he does sit, I think Rollins is fine. 1% owned. His price is very high, but I still think he'd be in play. And then the other guy I kind of wanted to shout is Cole Anthony. If Giannis hits 3% owned, we're lacking value in this slate. Maybe he could open up some value here if Giannis misses. But other than that, if Giannis does play, I think he's fine at sub 12K. It's a good spot, but like we mentioned, there's a bunch of really good mid tier plays on this slate.
Yeah, Rollins finally had a bad game against Portland, but he had Kamara glued to him the entire time, so it kind of is what it is. But yeah, I definitely think he could bounce back here if Giannis is out again. Just overpriced if Giannis is in. Over on the Miami side of things, Tyler Hero's back, which is good for my best ball exposures. KJ is still out. Jaime Jaquez is in and available. Norm Powell is back. Andrew Wiggins is back. Drew Smith is back. Jovic is back. So this is another team that is as healthy as they've been all season. I will say, like, you could mix in Wiggins and Adebayo at their prices. I think they're fine. Kel'el Ware has been playing tremendously, but he probably moves back to the bench. So he's overpriced, in my opinion. Just a tough team to get to, again, more so because they're healthy and they're a bit overpriced. I don't think they have, I don't know, like trouble here or anything against Milwaukee, but again, it's just a deep rotation. Everyone, again, they're not going to be crushing value at these price points with Hero now back. Kind of stumbling over my words here because I would like to get to some Miami. I just can't really see myself doing it, Jayhawk. Anyone here that's jumping out to you?
Yeah, man, it's definitely difficult tonight with all these guys back. I think if I had to go somewhere, I don't know. I don't know if I trust Hero here, even with his second game back. So it's very difficult. I don't even know if I have a single player in here that I love at their ownership.
Yeah, I will say Bam at 7,800 on DK makes some sense, but do you really want to use the center spot up for that? Probably not. So yeah, not much Miami here. Anybody think the Greek is playing? We're waiting on that news, Unicorn. As soon as we have it, we'll definitely talk through it. Luke, Podol or Williams for value GPP center? I slightly prefer Williams. We'll talk about that one in a bit. I think Klingon is in that group as well. Those three I love though. So I don't want to make this a knock on Podol. Jayhawk, do you have more Williams or Podol today?
Mark Williams for me. I love the spot here against Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento's front court D has been terrible. Getting into the last game at 7:30, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder are favored at home. SGA is questionable. We'll talk about OKC in just a minute. There are no significant injuries for the Minnesota Timberwolves here. So again, another team that is healthy. The difference is they've been healthy. So they're about priced where they should be. I like Edwards. I think he's fine as a tournament play, especially at 1% ownership. Obviously don't love the matchup, but he can certainly get there and be a way to get different on a slate like this. Randall, I think, is a bit overpriced. Probably don't get to him. I mean, Rudy's fine, but again, we have better centers in that 5 to 6K range. Naz Reid has been the guy, man. And that power forward, you can fit him in with these other centers. He's been super productive. I don't mind the spot for him, too, as he's mostly going to be running with the second unit. If I'm getting to anything from Minnesota, it's Naz. Won't call him a priority because there is some fluctuation in his minutes, but the only Timberwolf I'm really keying in on is probably Naz Reid here. Jayhawk, how about you?
Yeah, man. We've been kind of stating this, but OKC very very tough defensive matchup. Probably the best defensive team in the NBA. I love that Nas shot. If we're expecting Ants and Randall potentially to struggle here, hopefully Nas comes off the bench, sparks a scoring trend. So yeah, I like that 1% shout. I'm totally cool with that in that value tier.
Nice, man. Yeah. Yeah, it is the worst matchup in the league right now for opposing offenses. But OKC, questionable is SGA. I think he goes here. It's an illness. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Honestly, they could probably be competitive even without him. But just keep an eye on this because things could change quickly. If he is out, it would probably be Case and Wallace starting next to AJ Mitchell. I don't know that you need to force any of them in. They're kind of priced up. I mean, Chet looks okay here. He'd probably see a decent boost. Hartenstein's fine, but again, there's centers I like for a little bit cheaper. If SGA's in, he's okay to me, man. But other than that, I don't know that I get to much. I know we've been playing a little bit of Isaiah Joe here, hoping for blowouts. I guess if SGA's out, he's another one to maybe keep circled. But not much here for me in this entire game, man. Not much love from me for OKC. How about you?
Yeah, man, you would think, we'd have a little bit more for love for OKC here, but outside of SGA, maybe some Shet, just nothing I love here. Obviously this would change if SGA sits, but yeah, as of right now, not much I love here.
Yeah, it's like they all just come close to hitting value. They run a deep rotation, so they're not playing a ton of minutes. It's just not the best team for fantasy. Over on the chat, let's take a quick look here. Nothing new right now. Just checking injury updates. Then we'll get into this 8 o'clock window. Let's go ahead and do that. We got the Memphis Grizzlies taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. On the Grizzlies side of things, Zach Edey is questionable. That is significant. Still no Brandon Clark. John Morant, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen all out as guards. So that backcourt rotation is pretty thin right now. If Edey's out, I mean, Landell did crush in his absence last game. I don't know that I would want to go back to him necessarily, though. It was like his one good game all year. So feels a bit chasey, even if we get Edey out. If Edey's in, he's playing limited minutes. Tough for me to call him a priority. I don't know, man. Again, just the team kind of priced where they should be. Vince Williams has been pretty good, but they got him over 6K. I don't mind mixing him in. Other than that, I mean, Cedric Coward, I like the kid. I think he's talented, but the cap on his minutes has been frustrating. He's useful because forward's pretty thin tonight, but again, I don't know what his ceiling is like if he's only going to play the 26. We haven't projected for. I mean, Jaron Jackson is too cheap on FanDuel. I'm more on DK tonight, but if I was on FanDuel, I would consider Jackson kind of a borderline core play against a pretty soft New Orleans defense. 68 for him just feels too cheap. But other than that, not much for me from Memphis. Jayhawk, how about you?
Yeah, so you mentioned Edey. I think this is like the biggest piece of news outside of Giannis tonight that we have left. If he sits here, this is a really good spot, I think, for bigs. You mentioned Jaren Jackson. I think he looks great over on FanDuel. But I would definitely bump Chalk Landale here if Edey does sit. He's like sub 5K, but it's a very good spot. So, yeah, love that Landale shout if Edey sits. And then I think Coward's fine. Chuck and I touched on this a couple of streams ago. He just hasn't been playing the minutes we love in tournaments. So just kind of worried about his minutes here.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. He hasn't been over 30 in weeks, and he's popular, so I'm pretty comfortable getting away from that. I think you're more bullish on Landell than me, but again, honestly, with no value, it would make a lot of sense. I do think we should at least shout out Santi Aldama as another play as well. We've seen him have some big games in the absence of Edey. So, again, this front court is certainly one to keep an eye on. It is a good matchup, regardless of who's in, but if Edey's out, we're going to like it a little bit more. On the Pelican side of things, another team that is getting a little bit healthier. No Herb Jones, DeJounte Murray, or Jordan Poole, but they do have Zion in tonight, which is obviously significant. We have him right at 30 minutes. I think in a matchup like this, he could hit value, but where he's priced, it's going to be tough for him to end up optimal. Trey Murphy going to lose a little bit of usage to Zion. He feels a bit overpriced. Derek Queen has been tremendous. Coming off his worst game in weeks, though, against Chicago, a spot I think a lot of us expected him to smash. Part of that could be the return of Zion. Part of that could have just been he had a bad game, is what it is. I think I'm fine going back to him here, preferred on FanDuel where he does have forward eligibility. And then we talked a little bit pre-stream about Sadiq Bey. I do expect he gets a start here, coming off two ridiculously good games. I'm trying to see why, man. He double doubles. He had 13 boards, 11 the game prior, even with Zion in there now. Like, can Sadiq Bey keep it going? Because if he can, I mean, he is a little bit underpriced. I don't mind him. I'd proceed with some caution. I don't know. I like New Orleans here, but there's not one play really jumping off the page. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they all look fine here. The guys that stuck out to me, you mentioned Bay and Queen. I think they're both fine. I do prefer Queen for the salary savings, but again, he's been playing out of his mind. I don't know how long this is going to keep going. And then in terms of the rest of the team here, I think Murphy's fine. The only thing with Murphy is I kind of question his ceiling in tournaments. He's scored about 35 to 40 every slate. I don't know if he can give me 45, but at that price, that's a pretty good price point play. So think Murphy's fine, but my priorities here are probably Bay and Queen.
Yeah, man. We did get a question here from Rocket Sauce saying, "We getting Queen again, or Missy go back to where he belongs?" So I think Queen's still going to start, but Missy probably going to play at least 20 minutes, which does cut into Queen's upside. We have Queen for 28. They could be on the floor together, but it's enough for me to be a little bit lower on Queen, but I'm not playing much Missy regardless. Like I just don't have a ton of love for him as a player. No disrespect, but I do think Queen should be starting moving forward regardless of who's healthy here. How many minutes is Capella getting to be so popular? And then, Jose, I think the biggest thing here is just that we don't have a ton of great value. We currently have him for 16, which I think is pretty accurate. It's just he's minimum priced on DK. So if you're looking to fit in a few extra pay ups, definitely makes some sense to go to him here. Decent fantasy point per minute producer. But honestly, I'm pretty comfortable just building a bit more balanced if you want to get away from it. I don't think there's a real direct pivot at that price. We haven't gotten to this game yet, but I'll give it to you, Jayhawk. Vassell or Brooks for you tonight?
Ooh, let's see. I would probably say Dylan Brooks, but let me check here. What would you say here between those two?
I like Brooks a little bit more, I think.
Yeah,
Dylan Harper's back for the Spurs, too.
yeah. I was gonna mention that. Yeah, it's kind of important towards Vassell, not too big, but a little bit important.
Yeah, yeah, and we could use that as a segue to get into these late games. And yeah, Capella's over under rebounds listed at 6.5. So probably needs to take a couple shots, but he's so cheap. Again, he doesn't need to do much to get there. Going to go in the order of the injury report, though. First 10 o'clock game, we have the Houston Rockets taking on the Golden State Warriors. On the Houston side of things, no Steven Adams, no Kevin Durant, no Tari Eason, no Dorian Finney-Smith. Obviously, Fred VanVleet's still out as well. That is why we're seeing some love going to Capella. At the same time, Warriors not a team that is super big. They're going to have Draymond starting at the 5 in all likelihood. Otherwise, it's Quentin Post. So as much as I do think Capella is a decent value play, there is a world where they don't need him. They do have guys like Jashawn Tate or Jeff Green who could play small ball 5 off the bench. Jabari Smith's there, and obviously Sengun. But starting on I guess the Rocket side of things, I know I have the Warriors pulled up. Sengun is one of my favorite payups on the slate. We have no KD. He's coming off 2 bad games, but I don't really think it matters. I think the upside here is tremendous. I want to see him taking more shots. I don't know why he wouldn't in a spot like this. And again, he's reasonably owned, sub 10K, makes a lot of sense. If you're not getting to him, Amon Thompson is another player I'm really high on here. A little bit lower owned than he should be, in my opinion. Reed Shepard probably going to start again. I prefer him with the second unit, so I wouldn't mind him coming off the bench. But either way, he's too cheap for his upside. Had a bad game shooting last time out. I think he bounces back in a big way here. So really like Sengun. Really like Thompson. Really like Shepard. No Eason means we could look at Jabari Smith a little bit as well. He's been playing great basketball. It's just he's priced up. All the starters for me, except for Okogie. And again, Okogie is useful because he's going to play close to 30 minutes. He is a starter here. But I just don't know that if he's going to be popular, that's the type of play I want to be involved with. So, kind of rambling. I like Houston here. I want to be under on Capella and Okogie chalk, maybe over on the starters in Sengun, Shepard, Smith, and Thompson, though. Jayhawk, how you feeling about Houston?
Yep, I'm right there with you. When I first looked at this slate, I saw Josh Okogie as the chalkiest player, and I was like, I don't think Okogie's that good in terms of DFS. So I'm under on Okogie as well. Just not the best producer, and I know the model loves him, but I would rather get to other value at lower round. And then I think Shengun, Shepard, and Amon all look phenomenal here, like you mentioned. Just a very good spot for all three of them. So love all three of those guys. And then I think Capella's fine as like a full punt, but I'm not like jamming him by any means. And then I really like that Jabari Smith call. Power forwards have been very good against Golden State. I know the price is up, but he's a guy I want to get overweight to as well. It's 6,200.
Yeah, and again, if you are building, you find yourself on a Kogi as last man, and I think it's fine. But just keep in mind that good game he had came with 3 steals. Not a guy who shoots the ball all that often, so he has a very low floor if he's going to remain popular. But maybe he becomes lower owned as more value opens up. Over on the Golden State side of things, we have Draymond Green back. He is probable. Still no Kaminga, DeAnthony Melton, or Al Horford. I don't know, man. Curry's been better than I think his ownership is suggesting here. I don't mind him, especially on FanDuel at 8,800. This is not a great matchup for opposing offenses, but he's going to be shooting. Butler about price where he should be. Really, not much else here I'm liking. I do think Curry's underowned. I will say that more so on FanDuel. Pretty expensive over on DK, but just a tough team to get to right now. Mostly because of the matchup and also because they're kind of priced where they should be. But any Warriors for you?
Yeah, so I do agree. I think Steph's probably a little bit under on FanDuel. The guy that I think I like the most here is actually Draymond on FanDuel, 5,500, more of a price point thing. I think he's probably a little bit too cheap over there. But outside of those two, you can get to Jimmy, but it's mainly just Trey and Steph for me on FanDuel.
Yep. I initially wanted to like Gary Payton, but then I remembered that these big games he's having came with Draymond out. So hopefully people are looking at game logs and they think he's going to go for 30 plus again because the minutes are going to be cut here with the return of Draymond Green. But again, decent game environment. Not the highest total, though. I actually think that game has the lowest total on the slate. Another game here at 10 o'clock, we got the Suns taking on the Kings. Suns are favored on the road, 233.5 point total. Phoenix, no Ryan Dunn or Grayson Allen. Obviously, Jalen Green going to be out for a while as well. Looking to Phoenix, I mean, there are some pretty damn good plays here. Obviously, Booker, if you could afford him, has a ceiling. Dylan Brooks is went from like public enemy number one to one of Lucky Pie's favorite plays. A guy who takes a ton of shots. I think he looks pretty good here. Jordan Goodwin now starting, no longer on a minutes limit. Looks excellent on both sides. Even better on FanDuel where he's cheap, but on DK having forward and guard eligibility and being in a late game is super useful. So I do like him as a building block. Colin Gillespie continues to produce off the bench, and we're finally seeing Mark Williams producing at a high level. This is a good matchup for him, obviously, with no Sabonis coming off back to back games over 35 fantasy points. One of my favorite center plays on the slate. And yeah, I guess you could use Royce O'Neal. I just don't like the current form he's in. He hasn't been making his shots. That's all he really does in terms of fantasy. So I like Brooks. I like Goodwin. I like Gillespie. I like Williams. I'm fine with Booker. Man, a lot of Phoenix for me. How about you?
Yeah, so I agree with everything. I just kind of want to put it in another way. I think Booker is great up top if you want to get there. But in lines I don't have Booker, I'm definitely going to try to get to these other guards. So you mentioned Goodwin, Gillespie. I think are both awesome. I think the value guards are kind of my preferred route with Goodwin and Gillespie. And then I think Dylan Brooks, you mentioned, looks great as well. And then Mark Williams, yeah, he's my favorite center play on the slate if it locked right now. So yeah, I love Williams here. So yeah, pretty much on the same
Yes.
page. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, Williams looks great. I mean, centers have been crushing Sacramento. I think we're going to continue to see that here. No Sabonis for Sacramento, big reason for that. We also have Dennis Schroeder questionable, so keep an eye on that. But even with Schroeder out, this guard rotation has been a little bit of a mess. Everyone kind of priced where they should be. I mean, we've seen decent games from Levine at times, decent games from DeRozan at times, but none of them have really been consistent. Again, just a team that's been underperforming in general this season. Russ has been okay, but he's so expensive now that I'm having trouble getting to him. Keegan Murray's back. I mean, kind of scoring dependent for his price, coming off a huge game where he had over 50 fantasy points. So if you want to maybe mix in some Murray at very low ownership, I don't think it's crazy. But other than that, just not much love for me for Sacramento here. How about you?
Yeah, very difficult. Zach Levine, I've just been staying away from. I don't know if he's like shutting it down for the season already, but he has been struggling big time. I think the guys for me would be DeRozan and Westbrook on FanDuel. They've kind of just been the guys here with Levine struggling. So I'm fine with both those guys at low ownerships over on FanDuel.
We got a question here from Trey and a cut. Jalen Wells or Malik Monk, both coming off good games. I think the minutes are safer for Wells, but if Schroeder's out, I'd go to Monk. I don't know if you're going to have that news, Trey. I'd default to Wells for now, but if we do get word that Schroeder's out, Monk's a better play. Jayhawk, how do you feel about that one? It's kind of tough.
Yeah, I would go Wills right now, but yeah, definitely like you mentioned, news dependent there.
Jose, better question here: Sengun or Barnes? I'll go to you first.
Man, two of my favorite plays on the night. I slightly have Sengun better, but it's very, very close.
Yeah, I think point per dollar it is Barnes. I think the ceiling though, in a big way, is on the Sengun side. So I'd much rather play Sengun in tournaments. But two good plays. I don't think you can go wrong either way. That is all for that one, I believe. Or no, we didn't talk about. No, we did. We talked about
Yeah,
the Kings. All right, we got one more game here. We got the Spurs taking on the Blazers. 240.5 point total. Very tight spread. Essentially a pick 'em last I checked. Dylan Harper should be back for the Spurs tonight. Very talented rookie in that backcourt. Going to be a little bit crowded, but still no Wembanyama. Stephon Castle's still out as well, so that's going to be significant. Tricky spot here. I do like Harper. I think he's talented. I just don't think we could trust him first game back. On FanDuel at 4,300, if you're playing 150 lineups, you can mix him in. But he is going to cut into the upside of some of these secondary options. We've seen big games out of Keldon, some decent games out of Barnes. I'm really not getting to many Spurs here. Obviously, Fox you can mix in. There's just guards I prefer ahead of him. Devin Vassell looks fine, but another guy who could maybe see a bit of a knock in his upside with Harper coming back. I don't know, man. Spurs look okay on paper here, but another team who runs a pretty flat rotation. Nothing really jumping off the page for me from Sacramento or San Antonio. Excuse me. How about you?
yeah, man, I'm with you. And I think they're all are fine at their ownerships. My kind of plan here is just kind of mix and match these guys, particularly over on FanDuel. I think Champagne, Keldon, Barnes are kind of the guys I was looking at to mix in for cheap here. But I don't really have one that like really catches my eye. Like I want to go crazy overweight on. So kind of just a mix and match overall here.
Yeah, for me, it'd probably be Keldon off the bench just because he's a forward and there's a ton of guards here. But it's not like a strong take or a super I don't know, invested in him tonight or anything like that. Over on the Blazers side of things, Scoot Henderson, Drew, and Dame are all still out. Shady on Sharp questionable. I think he went through shoot around I saw as well, so he's very likely to return here. Matisse Thybulle, Blake Wesley still unavailable. I think even with Sharp back, you can look to Denny. I mean, he's just been so ridiculously productive. This matchup pretty favorable as well with no Wembanyama available. I do think Sharp first came back feels a bit overpriced. My favorite Blazer tonight's probably Donovan Clingan. I'd put him right in that group with Williams and Podol as the best centers on the slate. Like this 5 to 6K range to me is kind of the key here, especially on DK where you could play two of them. So I'm getting to a lot of Clingan. Grant probably comes off the bench if Sharp is back. You can mix him in. You can mix in Kamara, but nothing really for me here other than Clingan, maybe a little bit of Denny. These guys love Sissoko. Kind of been boomer bust every single night. I'm not going to get to them at all if Sharp's back in the lineup. But how you feeling about the Blazers here at home?
Yeah, first of all, love the Klingon Cole. He's definitely up there for me. No Wemby here, so he should be able to get whatever he wants in the post here. And then, yeah, I think Denny's fine. I do prefer the two bigs we mentioned, Scotty and Sengun to Denny, but it's a great game total here, so fine mixing in Denny. I did want to ask you, do you have any love here for Grants or Kamara? Both sub 10%, both sides.
Yeah, I'd like the more if Sharp is out, but I think either way, they're kind of like last pieces in for me. I just think they're priced where they should be. Like, I don't know. Are we going to see 40 points out of Kamara at all this season? Probably not, which you might need. I mean, Grant has the higher ceiling. I would pick him out of the two, but where he's priced, like with not a ton of value elsewhere, I'm not rushing there. I'd say this: if Sharp's out, I'll get to some Grant. Other than that, not much love for me there. No.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I think if Sharp sits, those guys definitely look better.
Yep. Got a really good question here from Power. Gary Payton, Sheed, or McConnell? I think McConnell first for me, then Sheed, then Payton in that order. How about you, Jayhawk?
Yep, exactly. You took it out of my mouth. Exactly what I was going to say.
Yep. Susu Murakai, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Giannis and Schroeder is the only thing we need to keep an eye on. Also, Zach Eady. That's a big one waiting on that. Shady on Sharp, who we just talked about for Portland's another one. And always keep an eye on lineups because teams could mix things up, man. So I wish it was all. I know a lot of us are with family. A bit lower viewership, honestly, because people are traveling right now, things like that. But yeah, that's the edge. Keep an eye on news. Keep an eye on everything. You never know in the NBA. Things could change rather quickly. Speaking of quickly, let's start a dummy build with Emmanuel quickly here. Just going
Love
to do
it.
that for the pun and the segue equity. I really like him in this matchup. He's probably my favorite Raptor. We both like Mark Williams. Um, then at second center, do you want to go Klingon or do you want to go Podal? I think either or.
Let's go clean. I really like him tonight.
Yeah, I like having him in the later game too. It gives us some flexibility if things were to change. Go ahead, plug him in. Too cheap on DK at 5,900. Um, Again, we're lacking value. I mean, I like Sheet or McConnell if we want to go cheap,
Yeah,
but throw some names at me, man. I could put in anything at this point.
let's just throw in TJ for now since we already have quickly. I guess we could go Sheet too, but let's go TJ.
Yeah, I don't think we need both. One or the other. And again, Okogi's priced similarly. He's going to be more popular than both of them. I like both as tournament pivots a lot. Um, what else are we looking at here?
Jordan Goodwin. Can we put him up?
Oh
Shooting
yeah,
guard or forward?
yeah, yeah. I like Goodwin. I mean, I think we want maybe Reed Shepard doesn't have forward eligibility. Um, let's see here.
We got, let's
I
see,
mean, Jabari looks good.
Jabari's Sengun we both like. Who else up top? Scotty, Denny, any of those power forward spinners.
Yeah, we got a lot to pay up for here. Let's go with Sangoon. I think there's some risk at the price. I love the upside though. Small forward, we're left with 6,300 per. Um, I mean, Brooks.
Yeah, I'm cool with Chris.
Yeah, let's go with Brooks. Pretty thin position. We got 6K left for a forward. Also going to do the FanDuel in just a minute. I mean, it's a risky, but I kind of like Nas.
Nas Reed, low on player of the day right there.
Boom. This is a beauty. We got Swerve here. Work's done for the next 11 days. Let's get money. Yeah,
That's
we need
good.
that low on play in the Discord. Love pulling this up because we do have Jayhawk on double duty today, taking you up until log from 6:30, talking through any changes, giving you his favorite core plays, all that good stuff. And as always, guys, oh no, I'm getting complaints about the mic here for Priceless. Appreciate you. I've gone back and forth on microphones, man. We're still trying to find the perfect formula, but always appreciate the feedback. I'll try to talk a little bit louder here for the rest of this. But yeah, guys, new lineup builder as well behind that paywall right now. There is a video on the Occupy channel. Check that out. I mean, a lot of great new features. We have people winning. If you're looking at MME, not a better time than now. But let's go ahead and start this build there. Jayhawk, who we getting to first? I mean, Goodwin's like ridiculously cheap over here. I know he's one.
Yeah, Jordan Goodwin for me as well.
Yeah, pulling up ownership real quick. I mean, uh, it's kind of all over the place.
Should we go Scotty in this build since we want to quickly last one?
Yep, I like it. Let's go, Scotty. I mean, at guard, we got some options here. I do like Steph in tournaments. I don't think we need to force him in. Let's go Gillespie since we left him out of the other. Another guard who we left out that I really like, Reed Shepard. I want to get some exposure to.
Let's do it.
Um, Throw some names at me, man. We'll be liking it forward, center.
Ooh, let's see here. Mark Williams would be the easy answer, but we already put him in the other build. Let's see. Jaron Jackson on FanDuel. Is he forward eligible? Should we?
He is. That's a great shout. Yep, he's too cheap. Let's see. Do we take one more shot on Sadiq Bey?
We could. What's his ownership on right now? Let's see. Only 3%
5,500.
projected for.
3%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's low on.
It's not the craziest. He'd be fine. I don't love it though. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't love it. If I'm being honest. We also have a little bit more expensive. We go Kelvin. I think he's safer.
Yeah, I like that.
Kelvin's good. All right, center. I mean, we have this range here, 5 to 6K. I mean, we didn't use Podol on the other. Maybe we go with him. Mark Williams is even cheaper though. It's tough to get away from that.
Mark Williams.
We could pay up at guard if there's one you like over the others. I mean, we got Brunson, Booker.
I think Jalen Brunson. We didn't really get to Brunson or Cat. I think they're both great, so we can go Brunson.
With it, small forward. I mean, probably not paying 79 for Bridges. We might have to move some things around. If we go Keldon at small forward, we could pay up for. Let's see here. God, we really have to move some things around. Is what it is. I don't know. Let's go chat just to see what's that small forward. Again, we're close. You guys kind of get it. Jabari Smith looks good. Something like this. All right. Is Giannis out? I think he's still questionable. We still don't have that news. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, I don't think we have that just yet. Game time decision. So
Yeah.
still waiting.
Yeah. And Trey, I think we're leaning Williams slightly, both of us, but those two and Klingon are three favorite centers tonight.
Yeah, I think Pirtle's in a great matchup. Like you mentioned, he's very matchup dependent. He should be able to succeed here. So
Bingo. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's crush it tonight. Day off tomorrow. Play some football. And then we'll be back Friday. Jayhawk, any last thoughts before we get out of here? We'll let you get over to the Discord.
yeah, let's just hope no one decides to take the night off tonight since Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And other than that, best of luck on the slate and let's win some money.
Yep. Awesome, man. Take care. Have a good one, everyone.
Good luck, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.